Hey guys, Alex here, back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about crypto and putting it in your TFSA and how to get tax-free gains and just the different ways you can do it. So let's just jump right into the video. If you want crypto in your TFSA, you have to do it through your stock brokerage account. Unfortunately, Canada doesn't let you buy Bitcoin or altcoins directly and put that in your TFSA. For example, you can't just sign up at a crypto exchange and start buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and all those altcoins. That doesn't count. I wish you could, but those crypto exchanges don't let you have a TFSA. So you have to do it through your stock brokerage account. And on the spreadsheet that I made, which will be linked below, it has a list of all the stocks and ETFs that are related to crypto, and I'll go over those right now. So at the time of this video, you have three main options if you want crypto in your TFSA. One, you can buy a Bitcoin ETF, so obviously you can get exposure to the price of Bitcoin. Second is to buy an Ethereum ETF, and the third option is to buy crypto related stocks, so things like Coinbase and stuff like that. Now obviously there's thousands of cryptocurrencies out there, and this means 99% of them you can't put in your TFSA. So bad news if you wanted to buy altcoins, but that's the main overview and the different ways you can get crypto exposure in your TFSA. Bitcoin ETF, Ethereum ETF, or crypto related stocks. So let's go more into detail. When you click on the spreadsheet, this will be the page you see. And then on the bottom of the screen, there's a bunch of tabs. Just click on the TFSA one and it'll take you here. So these are the Bitcoin ETFs that are in Canada, which is your first option if you want crypto in your TFSA. I think these are all of them. There's 5 Bitcoin ETFs right now. I'll try to keep this spreadsheet up to date. So this column is the ticker symbol that you'll search up. And once you search these, you'll notice just about all of these have a Canadian and a US dollar option, which will say something like hedged and unhedged. Then you can decide which currency you want to buy it in based on if you want Canadian or US dollars. The column here is the management fee. It can also be referred to as management expense ratio, or MER. This is just the fee that goes to the fund that is managing each ETF. They're all run by different funds, and that's why all the management fees are different. Now these are relatively expensive, especially the 1% fees, but it's probably because they're new and there's not much competition yet. Just to give you a reference, Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, which is one of the most popular ETFs in the world, the fee is only like 0.05%, which is 20 times cheaper than a 1% fee. Keep that in mind. And if you go to these websites, some of these are free for a few months. So check out the websites, which is the last column here. You can learn more about each fund. All of these funds are very similar. They do have some subtle differences. For example, if I go to this 9-point ETF, some of the fees go to making it carbon neutral. At least that's what they advertise. So they do have some subtle differences, and I recommend just checking out the website for each one. However, overall, it's all the same idea. They're tracking the price of Bitcoin, and they are buying Bitcoin once you buy these shares. That's the main idea, obviously. And this is how it works, actually. So if I go to, let's say, the CI Galaxy Bitcoin ETF and scroll down somewhere, it'll show you this Bitcoin per unit here. Every share you buy, that's how much Bitcoin they have to buy on your behalf. So the share price right now is about $7. And if you buy one share, this Bitcoin per unit is how much Bitcoin you're essentially getting when you buy a share. That's how much they have to buy, if that makes sense. And if you go to all of these funds websites, they have something similar. It'll show you the Bitcoin per unit. That's how much Bitcoin they're buying when you buy a share. That's how it works. Now, which ETF is best? It's a good question. And the thing to keep in mind is all of these ETFs are different funds. So they all track the price a little bit differently than one another. It's very slight, the differences. So it's hard to know which ETF tracks Bitcoin the closest. I guess we'll have to find that out over time, but they are all tracking the price of Bitcoin and Ether. So we'll just have to wait and see which one is best. I'm sure they're all good to a certain degree. If we look at the Ethereum ETFs, it's the same deal, and a lot of the same funds are operating these. And also when you search up these ticker symbols, you'll see that Canadian and USD version, just like on the Bitcoin ones. And lastly, at the bottom here, we have crypto related stocks. So here you have Coinbase, you have MicroStrategy, you have Tesla, which they own a lot of Bitcoin. And then there's some mining companies here. Obviously, these are not cryptocurrencies, but they're related to the crypto market if you're looking for this type of exposure in your TFSA. And there's a useful link here that goes to bitcointreasuries.org, and it shows you all the publicly traded companies that own Bitcoin on their balance sheet, which is really cool. And this list is growing as Bitcoin adoption continues. So maybe you can use this to research companies if you're interested in that. So as of 2021, these ETFs might not sound like a lot, but they're a pretty big deal. Right now, USA doesn't have any Bitcoin or Ether ETFs, so Canada is leading the charge, giving us lots of options compared to other countries. And these ETFs have been extremely popular, setting records when they launched. So now let's look at the pros and cons of having crypto in your TFSA. So the first pro is obviously tax-free gains, and this is the biggest reason for considering any of this. If you believe Bitcoin or Ethereum long-term, you might think they can 5x, 10x from here over the next many years or more. It just depends how bullish you are. But if you believe in it, they're going to go up a lot, and that's a good reason to put it in your TFSA TFSA, which is a tax sheltered account, versus just buying it directly on a crypto exchange and paying capital gains tax down the road. That could be a lot of money you save in the future, so definitely consider it. This is the main factor. The other pro is it's convenient. If you already have a TFSA open on, let's say, like Questrade, Wealthsimple, wherever, you don't have to go through the process of opening another account somewhere on a crypto exchange. You can just open up your brokerage account, which is what you're used to, search up the ticker symbol, and make the purchase. And the other pro is it's easy for beginners. This relates to the point above, but if it's your first time getting into crypto, maybe you don't want to deal with finding a crypto exchange, figuring out how to store it on a wallet and all that stuff. Crypto is definitely overwhelming when you're first getting started. So maybe just buying it in your TFSA might be a good way to take that first step into crypto and then just start learning more from there. Now, if you're a beginner that's never even bought stocks before, you don't have a TFSA yet, then those last two bullets don't really apply to you because you're going to be a beginner in both areas, and that's okay. Now, those are the pros. Let's look at the cons now. The first con is management fees. Now, these apply just to the ETFs because there will be a fee every single year that goes to the fund that runs the ETF. Now, fees are normal on ETFs. The ones for the Bitcoin and Ethereum range from 0.4% all the way up to 1%, which is relatively expensive. However, I don't think that would just stop you from buying it if you want to invest in this. The second con is you can't buy any coin in your TFSA. This is the biggest con, I think. You're really limited to just Bitcoin and Ethereum and whatever publicly traded companies you can find. This is a con because there's about 10,000 altcoins on CoinMarketCap, and 99% of these can't be put in your TFSA, which really sucks if you're trying to get into these lesser known projects. I really hope one day we see like an index for crypto. Just like there's an S&P 500 index, I would love to see an index of like the top 50, top 100 cryptos. That would be awesome. But until then, we just have these few options that I have on the spreadsheet. Third, and this is an important one as well, you don't actually own the crypto in a TFSA. You just have exposure to the price. So someone is buying this crypto and storing it on your behalf, and you're not actually the one that's owning it. Now, the whole point of Bitcoin and crypto is that it's decentralized. You don't have to trust third parties. You don't have to worry about anyone shutting down your account, stuff like that. That's the main idea of crypto in the first place. So if you hold it in a TFSA, you don't actually own the crypto. Somebody else does, and you're not able to withdraw it or self-custody it. And lastly, this relates to the point above. Since you don't own the crypto, you can't stake it. You can't put it in an interest account like BlockFi. You can't get loans against your crypto. You can't loan it out. You can't trade it for altcoins. You can't do any of these advanced things, send it around, unless you actually hold the crypto yourself. Now, that's not for everybody anyways, especially if you're a beginner. But let's say you wanted to learn more about that in the future. You wouldn't be able to do that even if you wanted to, unless you actually own the crypto yourself. So that's another con to keep in mind. Now, those are the main pros and cons. If I forgot any, please comment below. But yeah, the main idea is you have to just balance the tax-free gains versus the fact that you don't actually own the crypto yourself. You can't self-custody it. There's no one size fits all. You can definitely do a bit of both. So figure out what's best for you, and hopefully this video gave you some info on how to approach this. So in summary, Canada is pretty good with crypto relative to other countries. However, there's still very limited options compared to the thousands of altcoins that are out there. But in this video, I showed you what's available, and hopefully it was helpful. If you want to check out this spreadsheet, it's going to be linked below with a bunch of other resources for Canadians. Thanks for watching. Drop a like if this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.